Hello. I read a new novel. Got it from the library. You see, it's February 2026, which it's still February 2026. So, yeah, I would guess I'm one of the first ones to get this from the library because I put it on my list because I wanted to read it. And I wanted to put it on my channel so maybe I'd get like hits or something because, I'm reading something new and maybe people would be would flock to my channel to watch my review to see what some old man thinks about this young woman's book. Well, she's not that young. She's sort of young. She's, 33. Jennette McCurdy wrote this book. Jennette McCurdy, who comes out of television, Nickelodeon, the horror of Nickelodeon, and wrote a book about that experience, and it's called "I'm Glad My Mom Died." Glad my mother, glad her mother died, and this was a big hit memoir a few years back. I read it and reviewed it here. I think I listened to the audiobook and reviewed it here on my channel somewhere. Since then, I've kind of forgotten what I thought about it, and I remember liking it. So I read this novel that she wrote, and it's was kind of good. It was a very like kind of a page turner because I wanted to find out what was going to happen. It's 271 pages long, so it's not particularly long, and it was pretty interesting. It was interesting because it doesn't involve anything with television or Nickelodeon or any of that stuff. It's a real sort of fictional story because here we have this woman who probably has some wealth and comes from television, because of that, and yet she's writing a story about working class people in Alaska. So yeah, the story is set in Anchorage, Alaska, and it is written in the first person by the character Waldo. Waldo is a female. Why her name is Waldo, we never really are told. Waldo lives with her mother, who had her when she was 16 years old. Her mother is kind of, searching for something. Her mother works at Safeway, and Waldo works at Victoria's Secret. It was interesting that she said it in Victoria's Secret, especially now as the Epstein files are coming out, and Victoria's Secret is very much really a part of that with Lex Wexner, who is this sort of really kind of murky character, and gave Jeffrey Epstein power of attorney and all this stuff, and we don't really know yet what their relationship was all about. Wexner is 80 years old now and still around, and Epstein is allegedly dead. So anyway, that is all unfolding, and so the character is working at Victoria's Secret. She's working at Victoria's Secret is because there's not that many other retail jobs for this high school person to work. Her mother is working at Safeway, so they're both kind of living in the retail world here. They had lived in a trailer, so they were kind of trailer trash for a while, and she sort of refers to it as that way. And then they have an apartment, kind of a not great apartment with a not great sofa and things from the Goodwill and so forth, furnishing their place. Her mother is always kind of looking for a man, and is kind of happy when has attention. She's a single mother. The father left in his 20s somewhere. He took off, and we don't hear from him. She doesn't hear from him. Waldo doesn't hear from him. So So the mom, whose name we never really get, is, just sort of going from man to man. She is very, very unhappy when she does not have a man, does not have the attention of the man. So she's seeking her fulfillment through relationship in some way, and only accepted a little spark of a thing toward the end, which I'm not going to tell you about, but it was kind of an interesting side angle there, a detour that I thought was going to turn out to be a happy ever after ending, but ended up really not. So what goes on is Waldo here is a high school student, and has an English class, and she gets interested in her English teacher, Mr. Corgi. And Mr. Corgi is, twice her age, so hence the novel name. And he is married and has a young son, about 10 years old, whatever. And the theme of the book is really kind of consumerism. When she's feeling down, when she's feeling lost, she consumes. She gets on her smartphone and goes to the Amazon app and buys stuff. And she buys stuff and gets it, and often kind of just returns it. So it's consumerism that is sometimes not so satisfied with what she consumes. So she sets her eyes on this teacher. She likes this teacher because he sort of responds to an assignment he gives her and the class, where he says she does very well, and he thinks, oh, you could be a bit of a writer and so forth. So she's getting some attention from this man, this older man, this, kind of father figure, while she doesn't have a father. That part of it isn't really made a point of so much in the novel, as much as the consumer stuff is. It's really seems to be a consumerist story, but she sets her mark on this teacher and wants this teacher. So she has enough agency that she wants something and she's going to go for it. And so that is kind of what maybe is a little outrageous and edgy about the story, like the other one, I'm Glad My Mom Died. I mean, even the title of that is edgy and outrageous, because we're not supposed to be glad when our mothers die, because we love our mothers and so forth. But in this story, we don't expect the girl to be the aggressor on the older man, but that is what basically the story is. Now, he should have been able to resist and say, no, this is not going to happen, Mr. Corgi, but he does not. He is not capable of doing that. He does invite her over to dinner to his house with his wife, and so his wife gets to see her, and she gets to see the wife and make judgments about that. But she keeps kind of pushing and really wants him, and ultimately they have a sexual love relationship that goes on for several months. Here she's in her senior year as a 17-year-old, and she's 17 to 18 during the course of the story, and ultimately she graduates, and she's not in high school anymore, and their relationship is going on. There's part of it, she talks about how boys and men relate to other people through like their consumer things, like movies and so forth. So the boys all like I don't know what it was, Star Wars, Back to the Future, Scarface, The Godfather, really all these kind of very old movies that, high school students still look to, boys. I mean, I don't know. I'm, whatever. But, and when she gets involved with Corgi, he wants to, educate her with his choice of movies, which is like kind of the Criterion channel sorts of stuff. So, some foreign movies and so forth. And she's like, whatever. Can I just watch Survivor? That's sort of what she wants to watch when she's, feeling like watching TV and just eating Cocoa Puffs or whatever out of the box. So, we expect the story to go into some kind of really tragic mode where there's discovery, maybe him losing his job, maybe him getting arrested, all this kind of stuff that would go on in this sort of situation. And it does not really evolve that way. It all is handled quite interestingly. And, I kind of plowed through the end of it yesterday because I wanted to see what was going to happen. So, I thought it was really kind of an entertaining novel. So I would, kind of recommend it if someone wanted to read such a thing like this. I read a lot of novels, and I read a lot of kind of really great novels. And I just wrote a review of this, which is something I haven't been doing. And put it on my Goodreads. So maybe I'll put that in the comments here or somewhere because it's rather long. Yeah, I thought it was a good novel, especially if you just come to this through like television. Come to this through being a Nickelodeon fan when you were a younger person, and you don't read a lot of novels. If you don't read a lot of novels, it might get you really interested in reading novels because it's pretty good, and if you can get around the judgmental thing about the characters, because it's a story about people doing things where are shameful or not really allowed. Like, they're not supposed to be doing this, and the man is supposed to not be doing this, and the notion in society is that women are not the aggressors usually in this situation, that it's the men who are doing it. So this story, sort of walks around all that and goes into this kind of a story, which to me was quite believable and not unreal, although not what we normally expect in this sort of a story where the men are normally the aggressors, and the tragedy is brought to the woman. It's interesting that one of the movies that he suggests that they watch, like he's not really interested in these old movies that he likes to watch. One of them is Not the Blue Angel, which might have been the most appropriate one to watch. That's a little bit of a hint there. So yeah, it was a pretty good novel, and I enjoyed reading it. So Jennette McCurdy's Half His Age, hot off the presses, and you might want to read it or you might not. And thank you for watching.